Hey everybody, Jim Powers with MaryvilleSaints.com and Saints Vision as we continue to catch up with all of our outstanding coaches this week. And what a great week for our men's lacrosse team, not only on the field, but also personally for our men's head coach, Scott Stark. And Scott, first off, congratulations. Not only are you a new dad, but also the lacrosse team is now nationally ranked after that monster victory over Lindenwood. How's everything going?
Jim, it was a good week. Not only for me personally and my family, but it was obviously a great week for the program to kind of, fight through the adversity of me being in and out, and having Coach Burke as a great fill-in to kind of help the guys throughout practice and get prepared while I had to be with my family. But it was a fantastic week and right direction for the program as of right now. So.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Wednesday. Obviously, for you personally, um, coming from Lindenwood and opening the season against them, a little bit of anxiousness, so to say. I was in that boat when I coached many, many years ago, coaching against a team that I coached with for many years. But I can understand what you're going through there. But what just a tremendous victory, especially the second half, and the way our guys performed and battled through some adversity early on and then getting the overtime win. And just talk a little bit about the game itself.
Well, I think there's no doubt that going into it, we knew Lindenwood was going to be a strong opponent. They've certainly proven themselves in the past, and they were very highly ranked this year going into the season, and they certainly have talent. So it was just a good test for us to get on the field and kind of figure out who we were. You and I talked a week before just about trying to figure out answers about ourselves, and although I think there's plenty for us to look back on and fix, I do think that there's a lot to take away from it, just in the sense of our team being in a place to where we can kind of fight through some of this stuff and understand a little bit that we didn't quit, and just how we react to adversity a little bit throughout the game. And so I think we found out a lot about who we are, and just with our young roster, I think it was just a fantastic way for us to kind of learn a little bit about ourselves, right?
What about two guys sweeping the GLVC awards for this week? And Jake Foster, I mean, just a tremendous week for him. And then Connor in the pipes on Wednesday. I mean, those two guys just really, did everything that you could even think that they could do to get the victories, on both days last week.
Yeah, so I mean, first thing is Jake Foster. We knew, and prior to me even coming to Maryville, they went after and got Jake Foster to come in as a transfer student, and they just knew the talent was there, right? So me coming in, I kind of had high expectations of him, and it was all about making sure that we put him in places to be successful, and I think we've been able to do that a little bit with our offense, and so that the expectation of what he did was certainly expected in a sense, probably not as impactful between the two games, but to have him be a little bit of our focus offensively is certainly what we're trying to accomplish, right? Connor Robinson in cage was certainly a different story because we hadn't really seen him play at this level, and with getting on the field as little as we did in the fall, there's just a lot of unanswered questions regarding his game and how he competed in those big moments. And so it was obviously a great test as a young athlete, but for him to step in and to make 22 saves against a high level opponent and some type of opponent that shoots a ball a ton. And we kind of knew that, and the defense did a great job of keeping the shots on the perimeter where we wanted them. And Connor certainly ate it up, but he certainly exceeded expectations when it came to his performance overall.
And then Saturday, obviously, Quincy still in the infancy of their program. For us to go up and, sometimes you worry about a letdown after a big victory, earlier in the week, but there was no letdown. There was no, taking the foot off the gas pedal up at Quincy on Saturday, was there?
No, and we talked a ton after Wednesday about making sure that we're focused on us and continuing to move forward. And one of the big things we talked about going into Quincy's game was about making sure that we're playing our game. and that were focused on us. They're a young program. We hadn't faced them in the past. I personally had never faced them in the past, and so it was really important that we kind of went up and focused on us, regardless of the type of team that was on the other side of the ball. And they have some young players, and there's certainly some talent there, and we're looking forward to kind of seeing that program build as well as the entire GA. Our big focus was going in and making sure that we did what we needed to do, and the guys certainly did that. And again, our defense showed up and played really, really well, kept the shots on the perimeter. We had 2 young goaltenders step in, with Connor not being in. Jonah Heaton stepped up and played well for 3/4 of the game, and then Nick Tamalia stepped in and finished the game off. And we're proud of the entire group. But as far as having a young group, Jim, yeah, it's great for us to be able to task them with our mentality and our goals going into Wednesday, and knocking off Lindenwood, and then turning around and setting completely different goals and different tasks for our guys, and then be able to walk into and perform the way we did on Saturday. It's fantastic. So again, we're finding out those answers we're looking for, right?
No doubt about it. And this weekend we get Davenport coming down for a 10:30 start on Saturday. What have you had a chance to see out of Davenport? What are some of the things we're going to have to do to keep the train going and go 3-0?
Definitely. So, I mean, again, another opponent that we haven't seen in the past. I haven't faced Davenport in my time as a coach, and they're a young program too. Certainly a lot of freshmen, sophomores, just like we saw in Quincy, but a completely different team. I think they certainly have a good handful of Canadians from the Ontario area that have great stick skills, and so we expect them to continue doing what we're seeing on film and kind of shoving the ball inside. And our goal is to make sure that we keep the ball on the perimeter, but that we certainly need to make sure that we're not giving them opportunities inside is what they're looking for. So it's going to be a good test there. And then offensively, again, it's a young defense that's stepping into a college game, and they're battle tested. They've played a few games against some big opponents thus far. And so, we certainly need to make sure we're bringing our game and, again, focused on what we're trying to do and put our guys in places to be successful.
17th in the country in the latest poll. What's the message to the guys to not kind of look too much at that, but also to make sure that the focus is staying where it needs to stay in order to continue to build upon that?
Well, we talked about it after the Lindenwood win, just about, we want to continue building this thing. And if we take care of business on Saturday, we have a good chance of making our name heard a little bit. And that's kind of a goal for us, is to make sure that people get to know who we are and what we're trying to do here. Not just from an opponent standpoint, but from a recruiting standpoint, we want to continue building our name. So, that was a big step in the right direction for the program. And then we talked about it right after it happened, about how, we got here, and that's a good step for the program, and it's a step in the right direction. But we're still hungry, and we're not done yet. At the end of the day, I think just talking about it and having those conversations with our guys, helping them grow and understand what it's like to compete at the top level. And we're certainly not there. We're certainly young. We certainly still have things to work on. But I'm certainly proud of where our guys are and where their headspace is at this point.
Outstanding stuff, Coach. Well, looking forward to getting you guys back on the home field on Saturday morning for a 10:30 start. It's going to be a lot of fun, and know we had a lot of fans watch last week, and expecting a lot more fans to watch us this week.
I appreciate it, Jim. Thank you.
No problem. Head coach Scott Stark of our men's lacrosse team. Once again, Saturday, 10:30 start against Davenport. We'll have all the action for you on the GLVC Sports Network and Saints Vision, and also on our social media platforms at Maryville Saints. We'll keep you covered on how our men's lacrosse team is doing, the nationally ranked men's lacrosse team, this coming Saturday against Davenport. For Coach, I'm Jim Powers. Thanks so much for tuning in to MaryvilleSaints.com and Saints Vision. Have a great week, and as always, go Saints.